Mahalo for tuning into Island Focus and joining me in the conversation with Daniel Alexander of the Hawai'i Bicycling League. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You know, we were talking a little earlier, and every time you talk about bicycling, you smile. It's a very emotional subject, even in our streets these days.
What we find when people get back on a bike for a while, it returns them to childhood. They can't help but smile when you're gliding through the air in that way. It really is a magical thing, I think. And increasingly people, adults are turning to it as a commuting mode, as a way to get to the store, to the beach, and also exercise.
Yes, you know, the phrase, it's just like riding a bike, that we remember it. Many people have wonderful experiences as children, but now with bicycles on the road, it's sometimes not a very comfortable experience.
Yeah, sharing the road. Not all our roads are that well designed to make it easy to share, so it requires attentiveness, patience on the part of both the drivers and the bicyclists. And we do a lot of education around that, both of a bicyclist and motorist, because the fact is we have to share what we have out there.
And it's a big transition for Hawaii.
Yeah.
Those bicycles that are out there now that you can rent, is that part of your league's mission?
So you're talking about the Bicky bikes,
yeah,
which is the bike share system around urban Honolulu. So it's not my organization, it's a different nonprofit that's running it, but we have been partnering with them on educational efforts. So we've been doing this series of workshops where people that haven't ridden in a long time can come out and ride with us and get feeling comfortable out on our streets and in our bike lanes.
It's interesting because those bikes are all over the world, you know, in Prague and Paris and London, New York. The transition in Hawaii might have been a little bit more difficult, but your league has been doing a lot to bring joy back to people's lives.
I think we've adopted it pretty fast. It's only been in place for a few months and it's already getting a ton of ridership, and not just tourists, but also a lot of local folks. I'm really pleasantly stunned by the amount of people that you make the bike readily available, and they're now cycling out to, workers are going to lunches on bikes, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think the thing is, though, we really need to build more bike lanes, more infrastructure, because we hear from people all the time they would like to bike more, but they don't feel safe sharing the road. So I think things like what we've done on King Street with a protected bike lane, there's been some contention around it, but on the whole, as a safety perspective and an increase in getting people out riding, and what we've heard from people and how they sense it in terms of their safety, it's been definitely a big step forward.
Well, it's all about change as well. And I know that you also sponsor a number of different events in the state.
So, you know, we work in three different areas. So advocacy, so more bike lanes, education, so from youth all the way to adults, and then events. And that's designed to get people having fun, out riding. There's no better way than when you're in a group, when you feel safer, but also it makes it more fun. So we do large rides like the Honolulu Century Ride, and it's not only a great day to ride, but it's also a major fundraiser to support our other activities.
I did that once a while ago, and actually only out to Sandy Beach, and it was actually quite fun to be with a lot of people and a lot of children that bring the joy.
Yeah, so about 2,000 people participate somewhere around on an annual basis, and it's all ages. So yeah, children be accompanied by adults, but you know, it's a really safe day to ride. We have a lot of police presence helping at intersections and just keeping it as safe as possible.
It's sort of a celebration of living in Hawaii as well.
So we go along the Windward Coast, so it goes from Kapilani Park, one of our gems, and it goes up to Ka'ava, Swansea Beach Park, and you see some of the most beautiful scenery. I mean, the reality of where we live and just being out, I mean, that's one of the beauties of being on a bike, is you get to appreciate our elements and all the beauty of this place in a way that's a little bit harder when you're in a car.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You know, the Hawai'i Bicycling League is very important, not only for the traffic education, but also to bring joy back in our hearts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me and covering this topic. And I hope we'll get more people out cycling and having fun. And we're there to support.
Thank you. We've been chatting with Daniel Alexander of the Hawai'i Bicycling League. Thank you for joining us.